Morning. Let me get my computer set up here. Okay. All right. So, a few things here. First of all, welcome to Methods, and my name is Dr. Pipkin. I know I've already introduced myself online, but right now, what I want to do is I want to try to explain the purpose of this class. Um, and I know I post announcements and I just feel like making a video would be a little easier. This is a brand new video. I'm making this right now, June 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it took me a couple days to really think about how I wanted to do the class during the summer. I had already planned this a couple weeks ago. Um, but since there's only 6 weeks, we have to do it a little different. Now, a good portion of individuals that take these classes, they do transfer to San Diego State, and where there you'll actually continue to take more advanced research methods type coursework. Now, this is a an undergraduate lower level course regarding methods in research, specifically within the field of psychology. Now, you're learning in this course, there are different ways that you can carry out research. And first of all, modern medicine and technology would come to a complete stop if there was no research. Research helps us advance, right? Now, if you think about it in the field of psychology, in order for me to know what medication or specifically psychology therapy, right, or intervention, why would I want to give a therapy that's going to be more problematic for somebody? Like we do know there's certain types of interventions and therapeutic techniques that will be more effective for, let's just say, somebody on drugs or somebody that's maybe engaging in self-mutilation or depression or there's many different things that an individual can be experiencing. And the point is in order to know what to do, you have to know, what's appropriate. And so research helps us move forward and be able to provide the care that individuals need. Now, when you're collecting data, there's many different ways that you can collect data. Through a survey, through animals pressing levers, mazes, fMRI, EEG, but why would you want to do any one of those, right? It wasn't, I worked primarily with rats, but it wasn't like when I was a little boy, I was like, you know what, when I grow up, I'm going to work with rats. I never said that one time in my life. And the thing is the questions that I asked, they were tested in a specific manner that was only appropriate in that approach. So, meaning there are ways of testing questions because you're tapping into it accordingly. For example, if I came to you guys and I said rats don't like cocaine, and you said, well, how do you know that? And I said, well, I gave them a survey, they didn't fill it out, so I put 0. And you'd say that doesn't make any sense. And I say, exactly, because giving a rat a survey is inappropriate. It's not tapping into the question. So the whole point and even like a survey, people don't realize like you can have a bad survey. You'll learn in this class that you would want it high in reliability and validity. So, for example, you may create a survey that's not actually tapping into that particular question. Just like the rat is not able to answer, therefore you're not collecting anything that's informative in any way that's going to help advance the question at hand. However, an animal could press a lever for cocaine and you could see how much they're pressing for it on the lever specifically, or I should say directly, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you is that the methodological approach that one takes is specific to, to, sorry if you hear people in the background, because at my house here, and I have 7 children running around, forgive me. I just had my seventh child this year, so if I'm slow, it's because I have a newborn. So, anyway, so the thing is, the approach that one takes really is driven by the question. Now, remember, like some of the research that I did, I was studying diabetes and an addiction. And so the thing was, is I actually never was directly interested in diabetes in the beginning. I was interested in addiction, but I kept reading many papers that kept suggesting individuals with diabetes were more vulnerable to addiction. And so therefore we tested that question. The literature led me to it. Okay. And what is the literature? Well, finding these peer-reviewed papers, books, other journals, peer review papers. So the literature is on the topic. I'm finding papers and literature on diabetes or addiction, which there's a lot of it. Just like there's lots of YouTube videos probably on like a topic you love, but maybe there's like three or four YouTubers that you follow their channel because of how they convey content or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that with scientists. Like there's a lot of papers I read, but there's a handful of labs that I truly follow because I know their work, I know what they're doing, I know the tools they use, I've met them in person, so it kind of is the same way, right? There's probably a million videos on the Grand Canyon, but I'm sure there's probably a couple YouTubers I'd go to their page to see if they did a review on it or whatever because I like the way they work. Right. So there's labs that I follow, right, that publish work that use certain tools and ask certain questions. Like the lady that I work for, my boss, she's an excellent researcher and she studies drug addiction in many, many, many different ways. So, I know who she's working with and who she references, and so it helps me kind of narrow into that. And right now, you guys are learning finding papers and all this, and maybe these are not topics you're interested in, but the purpose of this class, as I thought about it, right? During the normal semester, I let people come up with a topic they want to study, and it takes them sometimes maybe weeks to figure that out. I've learned that, which is fine. But you want to get kind of moving in this class, okay? And the second thing is this is the purpose of this class. Since it's online, the methodological approach we're going to use is, well, first of all, we're doing a correlation type study. So we're going to use surveys. Okay, it's not like an operant chamber or an EEG or fMRI or any brainwave patterns that we're studying, or I'm not taking blood or any of that. It's just surveys. Okay. Now, like I'm speaking in general, okay? For example, in the normal semester, that's what we would do. I would let you pick your surveys. Maybe you're trying to see the correlation between social media and anxiety, let's just say. So you have a survey on social media and you have a survey on anxiety. And basically, you would create one survey and you would distribute it and you'd collect 100 people. They'd fill out both surveys, and in the end, you would have a total score for each survey, and then you would run a correlation on those two scores. Because I'm going to go over this later. I've made videos on this already, which I'll post. But, the whole purpose of a correlation, right? Remember, you're looking at the relationship between the y and the x-axis, and to see if there's a correlation between the two topics of interest. Now, the thing is I'm not going to have you guys find any surveys, and I'm not going to have you guys collect 100 people. For 6 weeks, it's too fast. So what I did is I already did that for you. I already picked a survey for social media, and I picked this survey for self-esteem. I already collected the data for you. Okay. So let's just pretend that you have to do it now. So you're going to write a paper about social media use and self-esteem. And therefore, your introduction to your paper would talk about these topics. I'm going to make another video on that later. Right now, I'm just introducing the project. Okay, so the introduction section, and remember everything in this class, let me kind of go back here really quick too. some of these assignments, I'm going to make sure that this is kind of clear, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. I have just so much to tell you. So the abstract, the title page, right? Those are going to be part of your final paper. You're going to like when you make these, I'll give you feedback and you're still going to put them in the final paper. Okay, the literature review, the exam, really quick. I do give you a study guide for that, which will be very, very helpful. So I would use the study guide to elaborate, to make a cheat sheet so you can use on the test. The literature review assignment, I give you instructions, but it's just, really to help you continue to learn how to find papers. Um, this final paper is the whole purpose of this class, and it's the paper project is what you're doing it on is social media and self-esteem. We're trying to see if there's a correlation between the two. I'm not going to tell you the answer yet. I'm going to make all that separate. I'm going to pretend like you're going to do that. Even though I already did it for you, I'm going to walk you through it all like you did it. So you're going to do section by section by section. Now, the reflection papers are specific, they're just going to help you really understand the dynamics of methods in the class. The welcome email and welcome discussion, you already know. The summary article, there is a instructions, and it will just continue to help you know how to look up and read papers. And the last thing is the presentation. Now you present your final research paper to me. However, you could record a video and upload the video. I'll make a separate announcement and video for this later for you guys, but well, actually, I mean, I could explain it right now. It's not really that long. It's just this. If you guys were with me in person and I said, "Okay, you guys have to present your paper," would you get up on stage and just staple your paper to the wall? No, you'd have a PowerPoint presentation. But in this case, you just need one slide because it'd be like a poster, like if a kid standing next to their science board. And I gave you guys here on the main page it says poster template here. You can use one of these, use the one, actually, this is a PDF, so that one's not good, but one of these ones here, it's a PowerPoint slide, and you'll see you can delete all this stuff. This is my paper, and like I said, I'm gonna help you guys do yours, but you'd have your introduction on, social media and um, self-esteem. I would tell you the two surveys I used here, and you would talk about them here. You'd talk about the 100 people you collected. I would show you, I'm going to give you guys a table to put here and how to write it up. You guys will have results. I'll explain to you what they mean, what we find, and from there, you'll be able to explain that in the discussion section. Like for example, this is my study that I did with nicotine and condition-based preference with insulin. So I was showing how diabetic rats, they found nicotine more rewarding, but when you gave them insulin, it normalized it back to like a healthy animal. And so, I'm working with rats, but I'm trying to discuss your discussion is you explaining your results in words. Once again, that right now I'm just explaining the class. I'm going to make other videos I'm going to do other things that are going to be very helpful. Right now, I'm just trying to explain to you how you can write the project video discussion now. What I want you to do is please watch this video right now that you're watching live. And all I want you to write here is that you're writing your paper on social media and self-esteem. I'm going to make a video later on the surveys I used, and I would show you where that would go. And I'm going to do a video on SPSS later, and I'll show you where that will go. And I'll talk about your intro and discussion in another video, and you'll put it all together. And the whole point is you're learning how to construct a research paper in psychology. But it's not feasible for you to do what I would like that we do during the normal semester because you would come up with your two surveys, you would collect 100 people, and then I would meet with you and we would do SPSS together. In this case, I might do a live day where we can meet, but I'll also record it. So, but when you do your presentation now, you could just make a recording of you talking to your poster. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but at least audio, and you would upload the video. The presentation slide is 25 points, and you talking is another 25, so it's worth 50. If people only put the poster, they get half credit. Um, so that's it. Okay, so all I really wanted you to know with this video was the gist of the class. And it's just we're gonna do a paper together. Everybody is gonna have their own paper, right? So, you know, I mean, maybe some of you guys know each other, but don't worry about it. Everybody's gonna have their own paper, their own words, their own writing. Try to be authentic, meaning like I don't like the AI stuff that people use these days. I think it's cheating when people have these computer generated programs write stuff for them. It's like you didn't do that. It's because I see people do that like with painting and drawing. I'm like, you didn't do that, you know. So I mean, the whole point is why do you go to school? To one day get a good job, right? And so developing these early thinking patterns, skills in your collegiate career now is important. So that's all I have for you today, and I'll make another video as soon as I feel it's important. Okay, but remember, the summer goes really fast. All right? So have a great day today. Thank you so much.